well-informed, cosmopolitan, free-thinking and free-speaking. I thought, that's right. So then I was thinking, well, how does a bloke get to be like this? How does a 70-year-old have a life that Gary's had? Which, as you all know, is rich and interesting and variable and urbane and well-travelled and well-informed and all that stuff.
All of the above. Say it again. You're right, this Gary.
Highly civilised.
And highly civilised, that's right. And I reckon there are two things. One is our upbringing, and the other one is books. Something I've always shared with Gary is books, our love of books. We give books of poems and things to each other, always have. And here's just another one in that long line.
An opera.
And I was thinking, I know most about the first bit of Gary's life, because we've diverged since then and lived in different places and so on, but a few things I remember from our childhood was we shared a bedroom for 10 years or whatever, 15 years. And all the drawers and cupboards and shelves and everything were 99% full of Gary's stuff. He was a collector. He collected mechanisms and jewels and bits of geology and rocks and anything. And I don't know where I put my few little bits of stuff.
But he's still got them, they're all over the house.
And as you see in this beautiful house, still collecting things of beauty and interest. We had a cupboard, a wooden cupboard door for our clothes, and on the inside, on the top of that door was "I hate." And then we all would write the things that we hated on this inside of the store. And the one I remember was the Protestant ethic. Which Gary wrote, you have to resist in all of its strength. And what else was it? I don't know what happened in between then, but about when Gary left home, he went to live in a place called the Pad, which was a very old ramshackle house on a commercial property, a factory that my dad owned. And this was just I don't know what it was anyway. But the thing about the Pad was about 4 or 5 of them lived there and all had a ute, a Holden ute. But the whole place was wallpapered with beer bottle labels. Just, you know, a beer bottle label is about that big. And you imagine how many it would take to do the ceiling and the walls and all the rooms and a few others. What did we do? The sort of freedom that we had then was quite extraordinary. When we were probably 7, 8, I don't know, 7, but 10 or something like that, we'd leave school, we'd leave home after breakfast, and we had to be home by dark, which in the summer was a fair bit of time. We would ride our bikes right over to the nuclear reactor at Sutherland, around there, right back to Beverly Hills, which is probably 100 kilometres or something. Our parents had no idea what we were doing, and that was, we just found our own fun in that kind of thing. There was also a place near us where they bought wild brumbies down from the Northern Territory to break them in and sell them to riding schools and things. And they found out that the best thing to do was to give these wild brumbies to us kids, when we were about 10, with a rope around its neck, and we could have the horse for the day. And we spent about 5% of the time on the horse and the rest of the time looking for it. But it calmed these horses down, and we were more than welcome to come and get all these brumbies all the time. What else did we do? Then by the time Gary was 17 or whenever you can drive, he started buying his own cars out of jobs, out of money that he earned from his own efforts. And he had a Lancia that I remember had stainless steel panels, bright metal panels.
1926 model.
You had 2 Lancias, didn't you? One was like a super duper MG, about twice as big as an MG in an open cabriolet sort of style. And the other was more of a sedate Beta or something was it called? Aurelia. Yeah. Anyway, Gary had this series of most beautiful motor cars that he paid for by himself, while I, as the older brother, was still borrowing Mum and Dad's car. I'm sort of not having an idea about that kind of independence. Then Gary and I went to London at the Carnaby Street time when the Beatles were at their prominence and the Stones. And Gary went to markets and bought old and rare books and resold them and made his living that way, beating the nation of shopkeepers at their own game as an absolute newcomer who virtually didn't know his way around. What else did he do?
It's a very open question, Alan. Very open question. I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Ask some of these beer drinking friends of mine from Canberra.
Yeah, that's right. There was the mob from the Canberra boys.
We murdered lots of small animals.
How many years is it since he had a boss?
I don't know, but I know he got to. Did you drop out of uni in second year doing
Yeah, I went to
economics?
3 universities and graduated from none.
That's right. And that was absolutely predictable because Gary was so interested in the interesting things of the world that something like an academic course must have been just boring.
Torture.
Gary was a surveyor's assistant out in northwestern New South Wales for some time.
Yeah.
He worked in the pen shop, he worked in the camera shop when these things were really specialised outlets, and he knew a lot about cameras right from the very beginning. And I guess I lost touch with you, Gary, after you went to England.
Yeah.
Maybe when I came back and moved to the North Coast or something.
That's right.
Anyway, they're my sort of early memories.
We bought a share of a hippie commune together.
That's right. No, you bought a share of our farm, the farm that I'm just selling at the moment.
Yeah, but we were
lived on
both
for
in
40
Currawinga,
years.
that was a hippie
Oh,
commune.
the Currawinga, you had a share?
Yeah.
That's right.
8,000 acres on the New South Wales border.
That's right, with 2 rivers. It was absolutely magnificent.
Lawrence and the Cataract.
And we'd walk right up the hill, pick magic mushrooms on the way and eat them and get out. Get onto our air mattress and float down the river. It would take 8 hours. 8 hours of bliss floating past platypuses and birds and ducks and things like that. 2 inches out of the water. I don't know what that does to someone's brain, but it was pretty good at the time.
Suicide.
What else? And I think the second thing was books. Second thing is books and literature and poetry, which has, I think, informed all our lives since then, and probably still does. Okay, over to who else? You can tell the story.